So, spent a good chunk of the morning playing Guild Wars, as usual, because that's my main game. Working on unlocking Skyscale finally. Most of the way there, but eventually decided I needed a break. So, it's a little after 11. Why not hop on and do another stream? And of course, it's Sunday, so, we're going to do the same thing we do every day. In this case, we're just going to take a look at the open mic in quotes, that Kent had Friday. I normally don't do those. Like, it's kind of a hit or miss if I feel like it on a given weekend, because sometimes they're just whatever, and other times they can actually be something worthwhile. But in this case, a lot of it spent watching some random video that he should have just saved for Whack an Atheist. Like, this is a Kentism now, where he turns everything that isn't a psalm reading into a Whack an Atheist. And that's why it's kind of like, do you watch the video? Do you not watch it? Do you cover it? Do you not cover it? Because it depends on if there's something, at least extra there to add some dynamics to it. But I noticed as I bounced around, he brings up, tracing Zelda again. And so I thought we might have some fun with that. And it looks like it actually goes pretty good. Creationist Crybaby makes an appearance. So, we're in for something decent at least. We'll see a few people we like, a few things that are interesting. But, this is going to be your typical Hovind crap. I am jumping ahead from his usual preamble because I'm absolutely, I try to be thorough. I try to, catch everything, just for the sake of it being documented, and if a reaction is necessary, it being done. We're skipping the goddamn preamble because I'm so fucking tired of hearing this history of DAL and seeing those same stupid pictures. The amount of smelling your own farts in that bit is insane. But that's enough preamble. Share screen. Let's get to this. Said we're jumping ahead just at 4 minutes in. So not that much preamble on Kent's end, but still, I'm tired of hearing it.
All right. Any old pictures from that when we opened, and anytime along the last 9 years? Pray for God's blessing. Tell others about social media.
I just had to do that little bit of the tail end because he's like, tell others about social media. Kent, I think everyone is aware of social media. Don't worry. They know social media exists. Kind of ruined the internet.
Okay, the Amoeba Sisters. What is this? I ran across this video.
Yeah, because you're sitting there browsing YouTube looking up evolution. People can't even give us shit, especially give me shit for hate watching you, when you clearly go around hate watching everything you can about evolution to see if it'll make for a good Whack an Atheist. If you can mold your script to it. Amoeba Sisters looks like a pretty damn cute channel, honestly. Probably has some cool info. I might check it out after this if I remember to.
They teach evolution. But there's a lesson we need to learn. They have 2.4 million subscribers.
Whereas you have 0.
Many people watch these. Probably
because they're entertaining.
This one video here had 536,000 views in 1 year. Over 500,000. They produce lots of videos on evolution using animation.
Kent, did you just do a Google search on Amoeba Sisters? You didn't just show their channel? I mean, that's a fucking... What? Come on, Kent. Come on. What the fuck, bro? That'd be like me showing off your Rumble and instead doing a Google search on... Let me just do one now. Hang on, we're switching to the tab. Okay, hang on. Share tab instead. We're just gonna do a search on Kent Hovind. And then we're gonna do, look at the first picture that comes up on a Google image search. And then comes Ken Ham. And then comes more pictures, and there's Professor Dave's video on you. And then, there's that. And then, look, the weakness of Ken Hovind on IMDb. Oh, man, look at all this Ken Hovind stuff. Oh, Oh, well, this is one of the first ones. So let's see. Oh, it talks about how much of a fraud you are. Oh, look, we go to this one. Oh, 5 challenges for Mr. Kenthoven. Mr. Kenthoven, I thought he was a doctor. Huh, what's this Professor Dave guy? There's so many other things, going on. I wonder what happens if I type in Kenthoven insanity. Oh, look what you get right here. Oh, granted, it's a very specific SEO I got going on, but second hit. Who the fuck do you think it is but me? So, in other words, Kent, I don't know what you're getting at with doing this way, because what? I had to have fun with that one. I noticed. So what happened is I noticed during Guild Wars I was playfully narrating what I was doing as if it was like a Let's Play or something, which really honestly maybe I should get into. But I had the energy for it. And I noticed I was kind of on fire with stuff. And so I was like, fuck it, I have got to stream while I'm feeling this. And once the headache slightly went away, because Sunday morning, usually headache, Saturday morning, same way. Don't get my energy drink in the morning because I always buy them at work, which is stupid expensive, but whatever. Yeah, I was like, let's do this. So I don't know where the story goes other than explaining this stream. I went all meta for no reason. Let's continue.
Now, girls, you're doing a wonderful job of animation. You're doing a wonderful job of teaching. You are excellent teachers. But what you're teaching is the wrong thing. How you're teaching it is wonderful, and it's a good example for people to look at. Okay, Darwin said, often a cold shudder has run through me as I have asked myself whether I may have not devoted myself to a fantasy. Yes, Charlie, evolution is a fantasy. See, God told.
And you said that common elements are not proof of a common designer. I have, as the kids in the GTA RP say, I got it on clip. So there. You can quote mine. I can quote mine too, dumbass.
Told Moses in the book of Exodus, I have called by name Bezaleel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur of the tribe of Judah. I filled him with the Spirit of God in wisdom and understanding and all knowledge and in manner of workmanship. And I want him to build the tabernacle stuff.
Yep, they can choose any kid they want. Halvin's an enabler.
For you, to devise cunning work, cut stones. The guy knew how to do everything. Have you ever met a handyman that just knows how to do just about everything? Bezaleel was that kind of guy. I like old Bezaleel. And I've given him Aholiab to be his assistant. The tribe of Dan, and the hearts of all that are wise-hearted, I put wisdom, God said, that they may make all that I commanded thee. So Moses get the vision from God. Hey, build me an ark of the covenant about the size of this desk. Build it, and these guys just had it already in their head what to do. So build the tabernacle, the furniture. I got one here. Back in 35, Exodus 35, Moses said,
back in 35, when that guy in Austria was a guy from Austria was running Germany, he was setting things straight over there. Make Germany great again. I'm not even joking. That was actually one of their things, apparently. So, yeah.
Children of Israel, the Lord called Bezaleel, the son of Uri, and the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, and filled him with the spirit of wisdom, spirit of God and wisdom.
And some Chris Jones. Let's going dark really fast.
Understanding and knowledge.
Seriously, if y'all want, we could do a stream on, granted others have covered it, but I don't know if y'all want to hear my take or me, read it particular ways, but Chris Jones' set of charges and the like and convictions. That'd be a horribly dark, but very eye-opening video to do.
And all manner of workmanship. And he hath put in his heart that he may teach. Not only could he do all these things, he could teach people how to do them. That's a whole new skill, okay? In the book of Romans, it talks about God giving gifts to the body of Christ. Gifts differing according to the grace, whether prophecy, let us prophesy. If it ministereth on ministry.
Damn it. So I accidentally closed the, or stopped sharing the tab. I apologize. There's actually a problem. I need to get a new mouse because this one's starting to wear out and the primary, left click is really sensitive, so it'll misfire. But started going after smaller channels again. As far as I've seen, no. And his whacking atheists have kind of been a little sparse. Wednesday seems to be the day he's sometimes just letting whatever else happen on. So I don't know.
Some people are compassionate. They can go to the hospital and sit by somebody who's suffering, and they just have the compassion. Other people walk in, you shouldn't have rode that motorcycle that fast. I'll see you later. Bye. They don't have any compassion.
You should have paid your taxes, Hovind. You wouldn't have gone to jail and lost DAL, and then eventually through abuse lost your whole damn family. Okay, I'm going to go over here now. Not my fucking problem. Hovind.
Some people have a gift of ministering. Some people have a gift of teaching, prophecy teaching.
I seem to be funny. I don't know if it's a gift or just the way I've dealt with abuse my entire life by turning it into an ability to be, a fucking goofball. But I seem to be funny. Am I funny to you, Kent? Do I look like a clown? Funny, haha, funny, weird. I need to know. Anyway. Your whole shtick, though, is going to be everyone needs to use it to kiss God's ass because your God is so fucking full of himself that every single thing is all about him. But he doesn't have an ego. Oh, no. But everything in existence is supposed to be nothing more than, look at how good God is. Look how great God is. Like, okay, who the fuck cares? What kind of fucking egomaniac does that? Creates a whole damn universe to kiss his ass. That's fucking weird.
Teaching about what's going to happen. Some people have a gift of exhortation to encourage people. Romans chapter 12. 1 Corinthians. And God set some in the church, first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers. After that, miracles and gifts of healing, helps, governments, etc. God gives gifts to people. God set some in the church. See, verse 29. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Do all work miracles? No. Everybody's got a gift. You've got a gift God wants to use for his kingdom. Those girls that did this animation video have a great gift, and they're using it for the wrong reason. Girls, I want to help you, okay?
I'll take one of the creepiest things Kent has ever said for 500, Alex.
Ephesians 4. He ascended up on high. He led captivity captive. He gave gifts unto men. He gave some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors and teachers. Maybe God's given you the gift of teaching, explaining things to people, okay?
Sure as hell didn't give you that gift.
Why? For the perfecting of the saints. That's why God gave you the gift, so you could help the other Christians grow in the Lord.
Oh, yes, God gave all these people gifts, even though your deity knows everything at all times that will happen, could happen, is going to, and is not going to happen, thus knowing that the people would use the gifts not for his own self-ego flagellating glory, but for whatever the hell else they want to, but he still gives it anyway. What the fuck sense does any of this stuff make? Seriously. There's like negative logic going on with Christianity. Y'all's variation of it. It's fucking weird.
For the work of the ministry, not so you could get rich over it, okay? Zelda game players, look at this. The number.
See, just out of nowhere, he just brings up fucking Zelda. Because AJ brought it up one goddamn time in a video. One time. And Kent has been writing this for 2 fucking years off and on. The fuck is wrong with you, Kent? One goddamn time. A joke about getting really lost in a recently released game. Oh, and one of the Hovendite watching this will be like, why are you so mad, Chris? I'm not mad. I'm just exacerbated by how absolutely fucking idiotic it is for him to have this obsession over that. He's more obsessed with Zelda than AJ is. I just don't get it. This whole group of people is nuts.
Number of people who play Zelda.
And yes, my voice cracked there. I actually kind of like the fact that sometimes I can get in such a way at 40 years old that my voice still cracks. I don't know why. I think it shows the level of just complete what going on that my whole body is just like, nothing's right. Everything is wrong. This is weird. I don't know.
Zelda games is not explicitly stated. However, the popularity of the Legend of Zelda series is evident from its long-standing success. The Legend of Zelda,
Yeah, success that you ain't had, Kent.
let's see, sold 10 million copies in the first 3 days. How many? I got a Zelda here somewhere. Where'd she go? I thought I did. Somebody. There you go. Yeah. I said, bro, hold on. We can quit chasing Zelda now. We caught her. Okay. I don't care. Okay. The Legend of Zelda.
Knowing that goddamned amiibo or the figure or whatever is going to be far more valuable in the future than anything related to Kent fucking Hovind.
Zelda, 169 million units worldwide as of December last year. One of the most popular gaming series globally. Sold over 10 million in the first 3 days. Let's see.
Yes, you just said that regarding Tears of the Kingdom. You're repeating yourself immediately after saying something. You put these slides together, and you don't realize you're gonna repeat. What the fuck, Kent? You're supposed to be a professional.
The Legend of Zelda. Brett, I've never played. I don't know anything about the game, okay, other than it's popular, and I think pick on Zelda, okay? Sold 31 million units across Switch and WII, whatever that is.
And there we go, Kent not knowing what a Wii U is. Of course, given the Wii and the Wii U's entire lifespans, you were in prison, it only makes sense.
Wii U? Sounds like Wii U. Yeah, okay.
We because of their shitty internet, we failed to catch a joke. Oh, whatever will we do? We didn't hear the witty banter of the Hovind.
Most popular? Wow. There's Zelda, I guess, right? What's with the pointed ears? That's supposed to do something?
Hylians are effectively elves, Kent. If you understood any good fantasy, you would realize that. But you decided to pick the single worst piece of fiction ever written.
Oh, okay. Kids zoned out playing Zelda. Look at the look on their face.
Wow, a stock photos from kids that, if there were more than 12 pixels on here, I could actually point out what they probably would be playing, in quotes.
Most teens play video games. 4 in 10 identify as gamers.
I mean, he's just going off the rails onto bitching about gamers. No reason, no catalyst whatsoever. Goes immediately from talking about, oh, what gifts gods give you to, oh, how popular is Legend of Zelda? What the fuck, Kent? Do you need some Ritalin? Got ADD problems?
45% are gamers but don't identify as a gamer, and only 15% of the teenagers don't play games. What have we done? How much time do they spend on it?
Doesn't matter. None of your goddamn business.
Well, screen time.
What would you rather them be doing? Defrauding the government? Violating traffic laws and saying, I don't consent? Writing down all rights reserved on a contract to get their game system repaired? Yes, when I worked at a game store, one-off place, we did a lot of repairs and stuff. When I worked there, a guy actually did that. When I called and explained to him about, this, that, the other that was going on, he's like, I wrote all rights reserved. And I'm like, doesn't work that way. His response, well, I'm not going to fuck with y'all anymore. Typical urban vernacular of, I will no longer do business with this establishment. To which I responded, okay. And that was it. I forget the details on what happened, if he owed some shit or what's up. But, yeah, would you rather that? Which is ironic that I bring that up, given that person was a gamer. They just happened to follow down a subset rabbit hole just like you did, Kent. Only you fell into a niche of it that really just focuses on the taxes, but still. Would you rather them learn to complain about the name in all caps? Would you rather them, avoid 5G because don't understand electromagnetic waves? You want them to not vaccinate their kids because you can't understand correlation is not causation? And you reject actual explanations for anything? Would you rather them fill their kids' heads up with useless ass bullshit and make them focus their entire lives on kissing some imaginary friend's ass, or let them enjoy life? You're so fucking miserable and you just want everyone else to be as well. Just go drop dead already, Kent, all right? How about that one?
Toddlers, they avoid it except for video calls. 2 to 5 years old, they spend an hour of active screen time every day. Teenagers?
Yes, I have. Some of you may finally classify me as unhinged in this one. If not, I can get worse today. I'm feeling it.
2 hours every day. Huh. Do you have a skill? These girls have a skill of making cartoon videos to teach what they think is true, and I appreciate their skill.
Thank you, Zumi. I was suspecting that, but was not sure, because every time it's on screen, I see like 12 pixels of it. But I was thinking to myself, that kind of looked like Link, but I can't tell with the armor and stuff. So, of course, Kent Hovind is pulling the "What if Zelda was a girl" meme, but in reverse.
I don't have too many skills. The ones I have, I try to use for the Lord. I wrote a series of books, The Adventures of Danny the Dinosaur.
Oh yeah. What would you rather experience, even as a kid? When I was 6, 7, I was going to my friend's place. He had fucking Nintendo, Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Brothers, fucking Zaxxon, not Zaxxon, Xevious, Skate or Die, all kinds of good shit. What would you rather do? Would you rather go play fucking Zelda, fucking Super Mario Brothers 3, or read Ken Hovind's Adventures of Danny the Dinosaur, Book 1, in the Garden of Eden? I don't know, Kent. I think there's a lot of stuff I'd rather do than read Danny the Dinosaur in the Garden of fucking Eden. I won't say some of those things I'd rather do because they're against YouTube terms of service, and I've probably already pushed the limits with what I said earlier. Let's just say I would rather consume a product that, hang on, let me, I gotta look this up. I would rather consume a diluted solution of sodium hypochlorite and sodium hydroxide and the like. Just saying. Then read that shit. I'd rather go skinny dipping in the Pripyat River outside Chernobyl. All right? I'd rather wave a big ass American flag in front of the old U.S. Embassy in Tehran. All right? No one wants to fucking read Danny the Dinosaur in the Garden of Eden. Jesus fucking Christ.
He's from prison. I'm not 67 books, but I'm not a great accomplished author. I don't believe I am. But anyway, kids love this. I wanted to teach kids about dinosaurs. So Danny the Dinosaur is in the Garden of Eden. So this is the story, the creation story, from a dinosaur's eyes. He sees Adam and Eve over there. What are they doing? Oh, they're going to eat off the tree. No, don't do that. Get this to read for your kids.
Oh, yeah. Want to hear about Danny the Dinosaur getting upset because Adam and Eve are about to eat from the tree. How in the goddamn hell does the dinosaur know that the tree is forbidden? The information was only told to Adam and Eve. Oh, no. I'd much rather do that than guide Link through the Kingdom of Hyrule to get the Triforce pieces so he can fight fucking Ganon. I forget which Triforce who has. Doesn't Ganon have Link? I like Zelda, but I'm not super into it enough. So I always forget key things like that because I haven't played the games enough for it to be burned in my memory. But Link gets a Triforce piece, allows him to fight Ganon. Well, also the Master Sword and the Silver Arrows and all that good shit. Get the piece from Ganon. Zelda has a piece. Boom, boom, boom. Hyrule saved. Then you do it all over again and again and again and again in different ways. Point is, I'd much rather do that. Northeast Peninsula is the secret. Okay? I at least know that kind of crap. Much better than Danny the Dinosaur, Book 1 in the Garden of Motherfucking Eden.
Get Book 2 about Danny the Dinosaur and the big boat.
No, I won't.
They went on the Ark. Danny the Dinosaur, family, his girlfriend goes on the Ark. Get book number 3, Danny the Dinosaur and the Adventures of the Big Tower, the Tower of Babel. I've written a lot of books because I want to reach children.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure Chris Jones does as well. You like to hang out with him. He just wants to reach him a different way. So what does that say about you, Kent? That's really fucking creepy. And again, if it was eventually allegations were made about you and such similar conduct as Chris Jones, I would not be surprised. And I couldn't wait for the absolute ass beating you would get in federal pen for being in for that instead of white collar, rich, religious, fucktard bullshit like tax evasion.
Read a whole bunch of coloring books for children. The Adventures of the Three Bears. Why do we bleed? The first part is all color. The second part is the kids can learn to match the color. Why?
Oh yeah, why do we bleed? Oh yeah, you get all the red crayons because, you know, that's wholesome for the kiddies. What the fuck, Kent? What kind of fucking crack are you smoking? Who the hell is your supplier?
Why do we bleed? About the amazing human body and the circulatory system. Inside the circle. Great story. There's a forest fire coming. Everybody says, run, run, run. Grandpa says, oh no, don't run. Watch this.
I'm just saying, someone get me a copy of that bullshit. I will totally read it. All right?
He lights a match and drops it.
Why am I screaming? Because I feel like it. I should probably calm down, but I'm having fun. Ironically, when I get that into stuff and get that into character, it means I'm having a lot of fun. It may just be anticipation because I have a system worked out today that by the end of the day, I should have unlocked Skyscale in Guild Wars, which is an accomplishment in and of itself. It's fucking irritating, but I decided to just focus on it. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
By their feet. What are you doing, Grandpa? Watch. It burns a circle. And he's, okay, step inside the circle. Now you're safe. The forest fire goes right on by. What happened? We were in the circle. Great story for kids to learn. If you're in Christ, you're going to...
So the theory on Kent's internet being so garbage is, of course, they apparently use Starlink, or so we have heard. I'm debating calling Joseph and actually planning a live discussion about tech at DAL, like completely neutral, me being like, I'm curious about your setup and wish to learn more. But I don't know if I'm totally going to go through that or not. It's a thought I had last night while he and Joe were debating, because there was no Q&A, so we never got an answer to why Dino Lamp is dead. Because I am hell-bent on finding out why that lamp no longer works. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. They fucking, use Starlink. So that's probably part of the problem. And then additionally, I'll bet everyone's connected in and lots of people are doing random shit in the middle of Kent's streams. And so that's bogging stuff down. But even more so, I think Kent's constant downloads of animal videos of dubious content must be queued for when this is going on. That's just a guess, though.
Judgment's going to go right around you. The Great Pumpkin story, okay? Kaylee and the Pelican, my granddaughter Kaylee.
No one gives a fuck about Kaylee. When's the last time you saw her? Zumi correcting on Zelda has the Triforce of Wisdom. That's what I thought. Link has Courage. Ganon has Triforce of Strength. So I put power to strength and yeah, Courage. Thank you. Thank you.
Kaylee and Grandpa visit Israel. Do something. What kind of skills do you have? I don't know, but you've all got something.
You know, I have a feeling Kent would be denied access to Israel. I have a feeling.
Something you can do for the Lord. Maybe God's given you the skill of being an animator. Boy, do we need one of those. Joseph, we could keep somebody busy a long time, couldn't we?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The animation. Come see me. I'll give you some jobs. These two girls, the Amoeba sisters, do a wonderful job of teaching the wrong thing. I'll show you. Girls, I'm sorry. You need to call me. 855-BIG-DINO, extension 3. We'd love to get you straightened out on your science so that you can use your skills to teach the right thing.
And of course, after all the internet decided to stroke out, Kent is now off sync.
Okay, let's go to the Amoeba sisters here. Okay. Got to go over here. No, this way. There.
Holy crap. Loud as fuck. See, Kent, I can't even snack without your tech difficulties getting involved.
Evolution. It's a word that shows
Fuck! Okay.
up in a lot of games and cartoons, some of which one of us is quite into, but tends to be used in a way that is often not really what evolution means in biology. Unlike what you might see in a game where an individual character evolves, with biological evolution, individuals don't evolve during their lifespan. And it's not just the misconceptions about evolution like that. Some of the vocab or terminology can be misunderstood. For example, our video that explains how theory means something different in science versus casual conversation.
Okay.
Yes, and there's that weird patch delay they've got in now where Kent just starts talking and half of it's cut off at the beginning. I would complain about it, but yeah, it's obviously nothing to complain about.
The reason they're saying this is because people have pointed out so clearly that evolution is not even a good theory. So you start with just a hypothesis.
No, Kent. No. It's because you dumbasses don't understand what theory is in a scientific concept and contents, and it has to be corrected repeatedly. I'm sorry, but if it didn't need to be corrected constantly, I'm not sorry, but if it didn't need to be constantly corrected, I wouldn't still be seeing people posting corrections to other people when they say it's just a theory. Those words should never be spoken by anybody, and if they are ever spoken by anybody, it shows you they do not understand the basics of science.
Hypothesis, which is just a guess. I can have a hypothesis about anything. A theory you've tested your hypothesis, has some facts to support it. So we call it a theory. If it continually passes the test and nothing can disprove it, then it becomes a law in science. Hypothesis, theory, law.
No. Just no. That is fundamentally wrong. You have demonstrated you do not understand science. Shut the fuck up, Kent. Jesus.
Evolution is not a theory, it's a hypothesis, and it's a stupid one. Okay? Oh.
No, it is a theory. A theory being, in my particular way of phrasing it, a working model, usually based on multiple laws, fundamentally add up to support the theory. These laws being descriptions of what we observe. And all those descriptions tied together becomes the working model, the theory. These various ideas are tested as hypotheses via the scientific method. That's it. That's the entire process. You've got it bass-ackwards. You're a fucking moron.
Quote Hovind on that. Right.
Or the word fitness. In biology, fitness is related to how many offspring are produced, meaning genes are getting passed down. So biological fitness is not how strong the organism may be. Or even the word evolution itself. In casual conversation, the word evolve might refer to products getting more complex. For example,
it's hilarious without them even trying. They are hitting hammer on head of nail every single one of Hovind's stupid ass points, every one of his misconstruals of the basic understanding of the terminology.
A product changes to have more advanced features, but in biology, evolution does not necessarily result in more complexity. Let's talk about what this video is going to focus on. We're going to define biological evolution along with some of its mechanisms such as natural selection and genetic drift. Then we will look at different lines of evidence for biological evolution.
All right. Joseph, you got me on there? Okay. Hey, brother, come in. What they're doing is wonderful for young children.
There you go. Someone finally correct him. Like, Kent, you have to shut up for a moment, but he still starts talking. You got me on there now? Why don't you wait for a cue, Kent?
Children to teach what they believe. Now, what they believe is wrong. There is no evidence for this evolution theory. It's nothing but a religious belief. And you're welcome to it. But they're going to go through on this.
Except it's not. And the moment you start saying that, you acknowledge you have absolutely nothing else of value to say. Because that's the baseline, the first stage of your 6 stages of denial once someone's brought up something you can't handle.
Video, all kinds of so-called evidence for evolution, but they're going to define it. They define it as, well, the individual doesn't change, which I don't know anybody that teaches that an amoeba turns to a human.
You have literally said that, Kent.
But they say the population of amoebas turned to a population of humans. It's still just as stupid, but it's easier to hide that way, okay, where nobody spots, wow, that is dumb. Over the mechanisms for evolution. Let's let them talk here for a minute about, let's see, where'd they go? Right here. Okay.
First, let's get a general definition for biological evolution. Biological evolution is the change in a population's inherited traits over generations.
You know, and some good news, we don't have to go through this the whole time. Eventually, Creationist Crybaby calls in, so we at least get that. But this blown out audio is killing me.
Let's talk about the word population, because it is populations, not individuals, that evolve. A population has multiple organisms of the same species. But even though they're the same species, there's variety in a population, right? Different traits. Those traits are coded for by genes. So altogether, there is variety in the gene pool in a population. But mechanisms that cause changes in the population's gene pool can lead to evolution because inherited traits in the population are coded for by genes.
Let me step in here and say, this is why I carefully define the 6 different meanings of the word evolution.
Yes, which is what they addressed earlier in the way you take colloquial usage of the word that is unrelated to the scientific theory and try to make it seem like it's all part of the same, thus supporting your attempt to make it look like a religion, because a religion to you is simply something that explains everything, apparently, that you believe in.
What she's doing here is showing clear examples of microevolution, which everybody agrees with. It should not be called that. It should be called variation within the same kind. So, amoeba sisters, are the variations limited in any way? They've been producing different kinds of dogs now, 339 recognized breeds of dogs by the American Kennel Association. They've now got dogs 44 inches tall and dogs 4 inches tall.
Hey, Otaku, I've been up since like fucking 5, because that's when I usually wake up on a Sunday, because I'm crazy and I have an early work schedule, so I'm used to getting up early. But by like 6 or 7, I was helping Jess with opinions on a video project she's working on, and then doing like 2 solid hours of Guild Wars. I'm a productive motherfucker on weekends. It's the weekdays when I need to be at work that my productivity drops tremendously because it's fucking hot at work. They don't turn the air conditioners on till 9. I get there at 6. 3 fucking hours of Memphis humidity. Working my ass off. It's mildly uncomfortable, and I'm lightly complaining about it, knowing good and damn well other people have it worse. Just, it's funny to act all exacerbated about it. By the way, hi Otaku.
They have dogs with curly tails and straight tails, dogs with long hair and short hair, dogs with a long snout and a short snout. Question, is there
Hell, he's still on the dogs.
a limit? 44-inch dog's pretty good sized dog. Do you think he'll ever get a dog?
No, Kent, there are no genetic limits in all practice. There are physical limits that the very nature of reality prohibits certain things. But all you're really ever talking about as well is just taking a dog and scaling it up usually. Or just scaling it way the fuck down. It's never such a drastic morphological change as, while it's still clearly being related to other stuff, it also obviously being different. It's never that.
Miles tall? Is there a limit? Now, have we reached a limit is a different question. But is there a limit? You can't get atheists to admit, yes, there's a limit, because that destroys their whole religion. Bacteria always produce.
your question is malformed, so we don't admit anything like you think. Also, I apologize if I had a hot mic a second ago. I'm hunting around for something on my desk. My desk is fucking cluttered, so it's I'm multitasking here.
Produce baby bacteria. Some might be resistant to an antibiotic. Okay, it's still a bacteria. There's a limit. That's not going to change it into an elephant over 1 trillion generations. But these stupid charts that they put in our textbook that show the bacteria or the amoeba or the protozoa, whatever you want to start with.
I've never seen a God do anything, but these stupid Bibles that they put in all the hotel rooms talk about some Jesus guy, sacrificing himself to himself. That's just lines on paper.
A single-celled creature slowly becoming a whale. This is what they're teaching the kids. This protozoa or single-celled creature came alive from the soup and slowly became everything. This is not science. This is a propaganda poster. That's all it is. And if your kids are facing this stuff in school, parents, you should do something about it.
Yeah, the audio is so blown out on Kensen that it's actually like being picked back up and echoing in some method that I just don't even know how it's working. Something is just all wrong there.
Hey, get them out if you can. If you can't, get in there, talk to the teacher, say, listen,
And yes, Baba Ali, I really do need to do that.
object. This isn't science. You have religion mixed in our science books. We like the science. I taught her science, physical science, biology. I love
Good news, I finally found what I was looking for.
algebra, geometry, trig. I'm good at pretty much all of those. But evolution shouldn't be part of our biology book. It's got nothing to do with it. The kids can learn the names of all.
And religion shouldn't be part of our culture whatsoever. It's got nothing to do with actual reality. Checkmate, Hovind.
The muscles and all the bones and the tendons and the circulatory system, respiratory system, integumentary system. They can learn all the biology and never mention evolution. No doctor on the planet, when he does surgery, thinks about evolution. He better know his anatomy. Got nothing to do with science. It's a religion mixed in with our science. So, you girls, come visit Dinosaur Adventureland. They're in Tampa. I don't know where they are. Forgot to look up where they are.
Far away from you and your cult of horny fuckwit drunkard drugger bastards. That's an interesting thought. Does anyone at DAL not have, and I'm not trying to vilify people for mistakes they made in their past, but is anyone at DAL not like an ex-drug user, someone with a criminal record, something or other? Does anyone, not having reached a desperate point in their life, go to DAL and help or live there? All you ever hear is people with, stories of desperation, something here or another, going on. And again, I'm not trying to vilify that. We've got people in our community who have had, their run-ins with stuff. And I certainly don't want to, as I said, vilify that. But it's just, that's the caliber of people you get, are the ones who will be like, oh, I've been in jail, or I've done drugs, make it a thing, and then continue to be scumbags is the thing. Fucking creeps. So who the hell would want to go to DAL? Why would two young women want to go there, knowing good and damn well that men of ill repute, horny men of ill repute, inhabit the place? Sounds like something horrible waiting to happen.
Somebody else I looked up Tampa today. Okay. Look them up, invite them, okay, Joseph? The Amoeba Sisters. They're invited to Dinosaur Adventureland. You can come on my program right here, and I'll let you explain. I'll stop you like I'm doing here. You can defend your religion right in front of my audience. Okay? Here we go.
Consider
I'm pretty sure these women have no idea who you are, Kent.
a population of grasshoppers. Same species of grasshopper, but there can be variety in this population. In this particular population, some are solid green, some have orange spots, some have slightly longer legs, some have shorter legs. Let's illustrate some mechanisms of evolution that could occur with this population. First mechanism we'll mention, gene flow. Genes that move between populations, which can happen through migration. This can impact the genetic makeup in the population. Mutations. They may be harmful, they may be beneficial, they may be neutral.
Let me stop right there. Okay, girls, I agree. Mutations can be harmful or neutral, but could you please show me a beneficial one?
You know, Kent, by definition, every single trait of an animal that you don't see as harmful or debatably neutral, it's kind of subjective. I mean, they're all subjective, but, you know, I don't believe anything is truly neutral per se in this kind of context, but that's neither here nor there. It would be beneficial. Color vision in the eyes, that was a beneficial mutation. The hairs, the particular sparseness of the hair on us as mammals versus others, beneficial mutation. Our shrunken jaws, beneficial mutation. Oh, you don't understand how? Oh, because the genes that cause the jaw to shrink in, you know, the modern Homo sapiens and similar and related species, happen to cause the our brains to be able to grow larger because we didn't need the same particular shapes to the skulls, the brow ridges and the like, or something to that effect. Can't remember the exact details in the verbiage, but I know the gist of it was less powerful jaw, less need for extra equipment to handle powerful jaw, more space to move in, big gushy brain. You're yapping out of your beneficial mutation, you fuckwit.
Show me one that added information. That you can't do. It might be beneficial or it makes it survive a certain catastrophe, like you give the illustration of.
Hey, not to brag on my boy Seth here, but he does have my phone number. So be jealous of the Seth. I don't know. I just thought that was funny. It's like, yeah, here's my number. Let's chat.
If the guy goes through with a lawnmower, or the bird can see the green one, and they don't have camouflage. But it is.
You know, notice that he talks about lawnmower and then bird eating. I mean, it's always dark, morbid stuff with him. It's always things being killed, things being attacked. It's never anything just random with him. You know, some wild trait.
Didn't add any information. You guys just don't get it. There are no examples of any mutations adding complex information. It just doesn't happen. It all takes place in the imagination, SpongeBob style. So I just wanted to point out these girls have done a wonderful.
You know, he always brings up the takes place in the imagination, SpongeBob style, when it's just like there's one episode that has a small section that has the focus on that. It's the imagination meme, and that's it. What is this with Kent and extrapolating one little thing that's said or referenced in something, and that being like the entire identity of that thing? Fucking weird, Kent. Oh, right, you've built your entire identity off of one thing.
Wonderful job of preaching their religion to children. And I wish some of you that have these skills would quit chasing Zelda and worried about who wins the stupid bowl and start using your skills to teach kids about creation.
Oh, there he is, being bitter about sports ball.
Wish we had somebody that could come do animations for us. We can keep you busy.
Yeah, well, why don't you pay them?
All day long, all year long. Illustrating the things about creation, about the flood, the fountains of the deep breaking open, the canopy collapsing, snowing on the mammoths, covering, standing up, freezing them. I could spend, how many animations could we do, Joseph? A whole bunch.
I actually forwarded you an email yesterday. This animator is wanting to do a video game, and he wants you to collab with him on it.
An animator wants me to collab on a video game?
It's a creation video game.
A creation video game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, let's see how you take that. You're like, I'm conflicted now.
And he's going to put the flood in there, so there's your animated ice canopy.
Okay. Well, why don't you use your skills to teach the truth instead of this dumb evolution religion? Okay, let's take a few questions and comments, brother. And then
Creation's Crybaby, then.
Crybaby got converted, I've heard. No?
Hey.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Ken?
Hello, yes, sir.
I'll come
Yes, sir.
run the science center if you want. Yeah.
You would? Yeah, but you would want to mix your
Oh,
religion
it's all going to
in.
be based on evolution. Is that okay?
No. Well, if you've got something you can demonstrate and prove. For instance, we have a guy donated his taxidermy collection. We have, I think, 12 different kinds of squirrels. I think there's like 100 different kinds of squirrels. And we teach the kids, look at kids, here's 12 kinds of squirrels. They might have had a common ancestor called a squirrel. Do you believe?
Look, kids, here's 12 different Hovind videos. They all might have had the exact same fucking statements in them called a Hovind. I don't know. That was dumb, but y'all get where I'm going.
Squirrels have a common ancestor with a whale?
Yes, I do.
You do? So no, I don't want you to run my
Well,
science.
we'll negotiate.
Well, that's
it.
wrong.
Kent, I have a question regarding your Age of the Earth seminars that you did. There's a creationist claim that the rim of the Niagara Falls erodes at about 4 to 5 feet per year, indicating that it couldn't be more than 10,000 years old. Therefore, the Earth's not more than 10,000 years old.
Well, I can't tell you anything much about Niagara Falls, but I can sure tell you about something a few miles away. Remember that whole Love Canal incident? Talked about it before. I can tell you a lot about it. Really fascinating subject. I just want to know. I just want to answer to my question. What kind of fucking idiot builds an elementary school on top of a toxic waste dump? But that's not the subject of the video. I mean, it could be. We could just abandon Hovind. I could talk about Love Canal again, but nah. I don't have the energy. Because I get too passionate about subjects like that. We brought up Niagara Falls, so it's like Niagara, New York, makes me think of Love Canal, so yeah, I gotta bring it up.
Why would that indicate that the Earth is not more than 10,000 years ago when it's just a matter of the waterfall not being that old?
Right. That's just one example. If I told you my car was 5,000 years old, I could go through part by part and say, well, they didn't have power steering until 1928 or whenever they invented it. Oh, you could part. The Niagara Falls is one evidence that it could have all happened in the last 10,000 years, actually 6,000 years. Niagara Falls is eroding 4.7 feet a year. Let me call this up here, brother. Jeff, John, who are you over there? Joseph. Let's see. So in my seminar part 1, I cover this about Niagara Falls and many others about the age of the Earth. Oh, security alert. I can click it over here. Yeah, okay.
Security alert. FBI agents are raiding your PowerPoint slides right now.
What happened? Seminar part 1. I think it's calling it up. Okay, Niagara Falls. There's it right here. Erosion of Niagara Falls. Darwin believed Niagara Falls was evidence the Earth was more than 6,000 because he believed Charles Lyell's lies. Okay, the rocky ledge above Niagara Falls has been eroding for nearly 10,000 years. Well, the Bible dates that up to 6,000. I think everybody agrees with that, whether you like it or not. That is what the Bible teaches. And 4,400 years ago, there was a flood. Okay, God haters are looking for any number higher than 6,000.
Kent, you think he doesn't know all this? All right, those of us who don't like you know your shtick better than your followers. That's not just a claim, that's demonstrable. We know more about you than the people who like you. We know more about your entire personal theology than the people who follow you. This falls down to that phenomena of I and us, we as a community, know more about the things we hate than the people who like those things do, which is an insane phenomena, but it's perfectly demonstrated here.
1,000 to try to discredit the Bible.
Well, that's
Time
not
is
the
their
reason.
pacifier.
I'm sorry,
Take away
that's not the
time.
reason they're throwing those numbers out there.
Yes, Poisoned Ground. I have seen that one. Loved it. Also found a cool documentary, more recent stuff on Valley of the Drums that actually explained it better and gave better context to it. Then there's the that farm where there was a lot of dumping going on that I think is covered in Poisoned Ground as well. I intend on writing a piece on Poisoned Ground and sharing it on Zadara because it is a really, really good documentary. One of those great gasps from the last era where journalism was actually something respectable.
It's because they're greater than 6,000. I mean, it just happens that Niagara Falls formed by the Wisconsin glaciation about 10,000 years ago. So I just want to throw that in there.
Well, you can't possibly know that. Yeah, I know. You can't possibly know. You're not 10,000.
You can't possibly know that. You can't possibly know there's a God, Hovind. Fucking moron. One for double standards.
Years
Well,
old,
we're going based on evidence.
Oh, so am I. How old is Niagara Falls? When was it formed? There we go. 12,300 years ago, Niagara Falls. Wow. See, the dates, they vary quite a bit here. 12,300, 12,500. Niagara Falls has moved back 7 miles. I think everybody agrees with that. That's a distance we can measure right now. 12,000 years is the fastest moving waterfall in the world. I've been there many times. Okay, let's see. 1901, a 63-year-old school teacher became the first person to go over the Niagara Falls in a barrel. I don't think they ever found her, but she did make it over the falls. Okay.
One person, they just found their arm, I think,
Niagara Falls
in the barrel still, and that was all they found.
I don't know. Plunge pools. Let's see. Cause the cliff.
Yes, Kent. You would lie or would laugh at people dying going over the Niagara Falls. It's incredible how much you are obsessed with death. Really disturbing.
To erode. Move back. I think everybody agrees it has moved back 7 miles. And we agree why. It breaks rocks off the edge.
Right,
All
the material below it is softer.
Now, some rock may be harder.
It's got a cap rock of dolomite
Right.
that's harder, and so it erodes the.
Maria, I am inclined to. Times Beach. That's what we're thinking of. Times Beach off Route 66. Yeah, whole town had to be had to be the topsoil had to be burned. Whole thing. It's now a park. Yeah, Times Beach was Thomas Love, I think was his name, something, was contracted to use waste oil to spray down the unpaved roads to keep the dust down. Keep the dust down. There we go. We get him to pave to spray Pearl Lane. All that toxic dust everywhere. What happened is the oil products being used, the oil-like products, were contaminated with dioxin and the like. Very, very dangerous. So whole town had to go bye-bye. Conveniently, this investigation happened right when there was a massive-ass flood that devastated the town, so it made moving slightly easier. Not by much, but yep, Times Beach, definitely a place I want to go visit.
Rocks underneath the cap rock, and then bits of the cap rock slough off as time goes on.
Now, we have historical evidence of where it was in 1764, 1819. They've charted it. They know it's moving back 4.7 feet a year, according to the museum guide. They're there. By the way, that the museum up there by Niagara Falls, the visitor center, it's amazing that fall eroded right past it. Just missed it. That was perfect timing.
Oh yeah, like how at Meteor Crater, it just missed the visitor center.
Okay, so there's Niagara Falls today. It used to be, obviously, up here at the cliff where it started. It's moved back 7 miles. Nobody argues with that. Now, this is where...
Not just that, redneck Missouri zombies. Ugh.
It was in 1872, a woodcut somebody made. Now it's way back there. They have a fiberglass model of it, a really sharp-looking model of Niagara Falls, showing how far it's eroded. It moved back...
Just thinking... I was wondering how far that model went, but it doesn't hit far enough to cover Love Canal. It's almost there.
3.5 miles in 160 years to where it is today. As it retreats around Goat Island, the Canadian is much bigger now than the American side. But if they become another 51st state, that'll fix that. Okay.
Fuck you, Kent. Fuck you and fuck Trump.
So Niagara Falls is moving back. Nobody argues. Started here, moving back to here, and then moving back to here.
I have a question, though, Ken.
So the point would be...
Go ahead. Let me know. Ask a question.
Well, it's moved 7 miles, and at the rate we watch it moving, they can calculate it's less than 10,000 years old. The other problem, though, is right after Noah's flood, during the end of Noah's flood, all the layers of mud on the earth would still be soft. It would dry out on the outside, and slowly the drying would harden the rock as you go down. So if Niagara Falls started shortly after Noah's flood, as the ice melts back, then the erosion would be much faster for the first few hundred years.
Why would
so
that
you guys are
layer
using
at the
today?
top be,
Why would
today's
erosion
at the
rate
top be so much harder than the layers below? I mean, you're basically saying that rock becomes hard through just a drying process, and there's all sorts of. There's compaction from pressure of layers above that are eroded away, and there's cementation of sediments. There's a lot of things that go into hardening, not just drying of material.
But I think it's obvious if there were multiple layers of mud, like Mount St. Helens pushed in how many, 50 or 60 layers when it went down there, the top is going to dry out and harden first.
When it went down there, you're in bumfuck Alabama. Mount St. Helens is in Washington State, you fucking idiot. Up there, over there. Do you understand geography, Kent? I don't think you do.
It's going to trap moisture underneath. And that rock underneath, this mud underneath, is going to take longer to turn to rock. Most of the rocks are called sedimentary rock, which means it's a sediment. It's not igneous or metamorphic, okay? So they do, the pressure is important. The exposure to oxygen to dry it out is probably the major factor. So the
exposure to oxygen to dry it out. Do I even need to comment? The fuck is this man talking about?
Under Niagara Falls, the stuff is softer and it erodes more quickly and lets the falls break off. Nobody argues with that. I agree there was a glacier covering that area. I agree. There was an ice age. I think it happened during the flood and lasted for several hundred years after. Actually, some of it's still lasting. So as the ice melted back, Niagara Falls escarpment is right there, according to the, whatever this is, the museum guide. If it was millions of years old, it should have gone back to Lake Erie by now. Would you agree Niagara Falls is not millions of years old?
Yes.
Yeah, and no one's saying it is. Crybaby just said itself, and your documentation said like 12,000 years. It's a relatively new formation. What is this crap with them thinking that every single aspect of the Earth was just there at once, like it was created, but still millions upon millions of years? What? Hovend. How does it's a sad testament to the idiocy of the human race that anyone actually believes this shit when you say it like this.
I would agree with that. Well, except that the rocks that are being eroded are hundreds of millions of years old. So they go back to the Silurian time period. But yeah, the falls itself is just a result of the glaciation, the rollback of the glaciers that also form the Great Lakes, Lake Erie, and the rest of the Great Lakes. But Kent, I would ask one more thing real quick. Is it seems like creationists are picking Niagara Falls because the date somewhat coincides with the length of creation, which is 6,000 years ago, and it's like Victoria Falls goes back to 100,000 years at least, and creationists never bring up Victoria Falls or any other waterfall that is older, quite a bit older than Niagara Falls. So I just wanted to point that out.
Okay, well, I will do some research on Victoria Falls for you, and I'll try to get that.
Kent researches nothing ever. Also, if you hear some plastic moving around in the background, one of the kittens wanted in, so Dwayne is chewing on plastic because, of course, she is.
Next Thursday or Friday night.
Enjoy studying it.
Okay, I will. Now, you talked about the Silurian age for the rock there. Is the Holocene
Oh shit, he's bringing up his charts.
rock younger than the Silurian rock? And if so, where was all this rock sitting around for, let's see, for half a billion years?
Well, we don't have any Holocene rock in that area, so we don't know. All we have is the youngest rock we have is from the Silurian, and it's the cap rock that's on Niagara Falls. So I don't know in that area what was on top of it at some point, or because there's no evidence of it anymore. It's been eroded away.
Right. They eroded. Right. Okay. Let me ask you a question then. Is the Silurian limestone? There it is, right there.
I believe
Silurian.
is it dolomite? I think that's the. Let's see here.
Dolomite's the top layer. Okay.
Yeah, it's the Lockhart.
Where
it's the Lockhart
are
group.
these? Where are these? Right. Now, I know you guys believe these layers are different ages by millions of years, but you never answer the simple question. Where is it coming from? How can it be younger? Was it hiding in outer space for millions of years before it landed here? There it is right there.
And we
Dolostone.
also,
Where did it come from?
well, I mean, do you mean the processes that formed the
Come on.
limestone?
No. Why is the Dolostone young?
Ken thinks that's such a gotcha, which would be irrelevant even if we didn't have an understanding on how the layers formed. Where the material was wouldn't negate the other evidence we see. But, of course, we do, so it makes a lot of things make a lot of sense. It's just what Kent's asking for is a bit of a nonsensical question, in all honesty.
Younger than the shale
because
it's
there
on
was-
top of.
I would,
It was the
I would
Dolostone.
guess that there was a change in sea level, and that Dolostone, which is from a deeper water environment, was laid upon the shallower shales, which were formed nearer to the shore. So when you have increasing sea level rising, you would have a rock that's formed in deeper depths of water forming on top of
Right.
rocks that were formed under more shallow environments. Go ahead.
Now, hang on. But it's forming out of the minerals that are already dissolved in the water. It's not just coming out of thin air.
Oh.
The minerals that make the Dolostone are in the water, dissolved in the water. Like it's a sedimentary rock.
It's limestone, so it's
But
formed
you guys,
of calcareous,
how can you not get it?
tiny calcareous organisms and such.
Right. It's limestone. If you look at the Grand Canyon, it has like 12 different layers that are all called limestone, but they're all given different ages. Where are these top layers coming from? Are they coming from outer space?
It's all changes
If they're coming
in
from
sea level. So the Grand Canyon is a classic example of changes in sea level. So you might have a beach sand, and then when the sea level rises, you'll have a silt laid down on the sandstone. Sea level rises more, you have a limestone laid down.
I
So that's where
understand.
it's coming, is a change in the
But
depositional environment.
No, listen to me. The minerals were already on the
Kent, but we've
planet.
talked about this.
All the minerals, every molecule in the world is the same age, whether 6,000 or 6 trillion. How can this top layer be younger? I keep asking, where's it coming from? Not when did it form, because when it formed, that's just moving it from here to there, changing it from dissolved in water to hardened.
And the classic of Kent not understanding how you age things, what you're referring to as having a given age, all while simultaneously speaking so highly of his spiritual birthdays and his actual birthdays.
That's what we're looking at, though. That's what we're
You're not
looking
answering.
at, is when
Right.
the layer formed,
But it's not
when the individual grains formed.
Okay, so if I shuffle a deck of cards, the top card is younger. Is that right?
Well, I've said this before, shuffling a deck of cards is not what happens in sedimentary deposition. It's laying down the lowest card, putting a card on top of that, putting a card on top of that, putting a card on top of that, putting a card on top of that. And sometimes you might expose that to above sea level, for example, and some cards will erode away. And then sea level will rise, and you'll deposit another card, another card. You're not taking them and shuffling them. And you're doing like this.
But listen,
It's
it's
a layer
all I know. It's all the same molecules being laid down. They're not changing the age because they change from dissolved in liquid to being solid.
Not dating the molecules, Kent, or dating the layers. Why do you think this goes anywhere?
Are they coming from outer space? Were those molecules that made up the limestone and the dolostone and the
there's
shale,
a
were those
continual
molecules all here?
recycling of the
all
Earth's
along?
crust that's happening. I mean, there's
Right,
Right.
I agree. I'm familiar
Right.
with that. Subduction, all that stuff. But that doesn't change the age of it. The molecules are still the same age, whether they got sucked under and melted and you shot out through a volcano.
Yeah,
They're
but
still
we're-
the same
we're
molecules.
talking about
They're still the same
layers being
age.
laid down. You
That- I
agree
know,
that
you don't-
you
you're still
agree that
answering the
if
question.
you have 10 volcanic events that lay 10 layers of magma, one on top of the other, you would agree that the upper layer of that is younger, that layer, when it was laid down and solidified, is younger than the first eruption material, right?
Sure, they've done that all around volcanoes. They try to, the Pompeii and stuff like that date the layers of when it erupted. But it's still the same molecule being recycled. It's even in the case of lava or igneous rock. It's still the same molecules. They can't be a different age. Dating the event is what you could do
that's
with
what
a
we're doing.
volcanic
And the same thing
eruption.
happens with sedimentary layers. Is we're dating the age of the event. So the event is when that layer was laid down, whether it was erosion from a mountain and a river takes it into the ocean and deposits it on a beach. That's a range of time that happens.
So now it's younger.
That would be younger than the material that was below that. Yeah.
Did you watch the video Experiments in Stratification where they show 10 layers?
Fuck off with Experiments in Stratification. God fucking damn.
And we can talk about that the next time because you've asked me to watch that and I haven't yet. Right. And I've been remiss there and I have to watch that.
It's 30 years. It's 30 years old. It's very good.
Yeah, you were fine, BBM. It's Kent being Kent. I mean, what can you do? He's gonna steamroll. And you can't push back because they'll just kick you off. That's the problem with these open mics. It's his control. So what can you do except be polite and not that you be rude per se, but be extra polite in dealing with him.
I will check Victoria.
I appreciate talking to you. Thank you, Joseph. Good talking to you. Bye.
All right. Call in anytime. All right. Who else we got there, Joseph?
Oh man, is this gonna be Claude? Is this Claude? I got a feeling this is Claude.
Galston Withers.
Yes.
Good British name.
Go ahead. From Oxford here, Dr. Hovind. Yes, but
Oxford.
I'm not an academic, though, but I know a little bit. Look, I just wanted to talk about evolution.
We lost him.
Am I still here?
Yeah, they're coming in and out. What's happening?
Yeah, I love that they sit there and they get pissy with it being Claude. It's like, just let Claude back in. I mean, what's your deal? Are you that mad at him? I thought Kent can handle it.
Claude.
What? Oh, that's Claude. It's just Claude, Cloudy Bowels.
Yeah, it's true.
And I already know what he wants to ask. Right? You can't stay on topic with evolution. He's going to try to sneak in some personal stuff. Yeah. Okay. Cloudy, good try though.
Can you stay on topic, Kent? You're the one who brings up all the random shit going on in your life. You make whole videos dedicated to drama. I want to fucking talk, bro.
Clean your bowels up, okay? Try X-Lax or something. Okay, who we got there? Swing Blade. What's your best defense against Torah observers? Well, if you mean keeping the law, I cover the Sabbath on my video number 7. I tell people I've never met anybody who keeps the Sabbath, not one person. If you read the laws about the Sabbath, you can't go out of your house. You can't kindle a fire.
You can't leave personal space, which is why the Erus, are set up in various areas to identify an enclosed personal space, allowing people to go do things where necessary or be able to just go out.
Well, that would mean you can't start your car. It means you can't use hot water. You can't use your furnace. That would mean you can't work and you can't make anybody else work. Your servants get the day off. So if you're using any utilities,
it's not necessarily making somebody work. You're choosing. They're still choosing to work on their own volition. And yes, they may be managing equipment that produces a resource that you're using at that moment, like electricity is always a good one. But then again, everything's kind of automated. They're just sitting there watching things do their thing. Unless they're operating a Soviet-era RBMK reactor, in which case you've got to watch that thing like a hawk, otherwise it'll decide to go all boomy boom on you. Not really, but you seriously do have to monitor RBMKs. Other nuclear reactors, slightly less monitoring. Still, they are watched like hawks.
Somebody downtown is working. So I go through that in video number 7 of my series. I've never met anybody who keeps the Sabbath. And the Sabbath, very clearly, it tells us in Genesis and Exodus and several other places, it's...
As I stress, in my understanding or my acceptance of such, that those Jews who are extremely strong on such. I don't know if that qualifies as the Hasidic Jews or what have you. I forget how different groups are named and what defines what. But that's the first name that I know of and think of for those who are like really, really Jewish. I'd consider what they do to be following it. So up yours, Kent. Point goes to the Jews.
For the Jews. I'm Norwegian, born a store to silly dog. So it's not for me. If you want to try to keep it, great. But here's what my experience has been, 56 years of watching. Those who keep a few parts of the Sabbath think they're spiritual and you're not. And they think they're a better Christian than you are. And they don't even, okay. All right, other ones? Lavender, do you think the Earth, stars are closer than, I think you're meaning the stars are closer than they say. No, the stars are probably billions of light years away. I don't know. I don't think we can measure them, certainly not accurately. Parallax trigonometry is limited to maybe, 30,
That's why parallax isn't used, you fucking idiot.
40, 50, 100 light years. The other ones are by star luminosity or by the brightness of the star or the color of the star. But it doesn't matter. Even if they are billions.
Luminosity or by chromoscopy, something like that. Chromoscopy. By the color.
Of light years away. 17 times in the Bible it says God stretched out the heavens. He made the earth first, then he made the stars and stretched them out. Watch video 7 for much more on that, about how do we see the stars billions of light years away.
This one kind of ties into that.
I guess I don't need this anymore, do it. Okay.
This kind of ties into that. I think this question is, the stars we see, is this billions of years in the past or something?
Well, if this, let's say here's the earth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm limited on some of the things I can assist with, but shit, I'd be a goy. I'll do all the stuff you can't do. You just relax. Let me take care of it. Totally. I am all for that.
God makes a star. Let me get a star here. Okay. God makes a star and he stretches it out into place. The light coming from the star is going to be reaching the earth. Let's say the star is moving at half the speed of light. I'm just picking a number, okay? That means the light would still get here. And the star could be long ways away and not be as old as that.
And yes, thank you, Bob Ali. Spectroscopy is exactly the word.
See, a star light.
Of course, Kent wouldn't understand that the spectroscopy results have to be measured against redshift, and we'd have to have reasonable understanding. Well, no, we wouldn't. The results would speak for themselves. The hydrogen lines versus other heavier elements, we would get that. But yeah, it has to be slightly adjusted, and even then, I'm not totally sure how the actual color of the electromagnetic radiation emitted from the star would give you distance. Yeah, it's probably a case of that redshift. Actually, it would be the redshift itself for larger distances. I stand corrected. I realized, oh, wait, I was thinking of the problem backwards. Because you'd have to adjust because you know it's going to have hydrogen lines, and you know they're going to be here, and you know how they're going to look. So if they look really off, you have to adjust accordingly. That gives you your redshift value, and thus you know how far away something is. It's easy.
A light year is a distance. It's not a time. It's a distance. So 10 light years does not mean it took the light 10 years to get here.
That is exactly what it means.
If he made it and stretched it out there to 10 light years, then it could be 2 seconds old.
Look out, we got the SpongeBob Borg cube headed for Snow Globe Earth. We are the Borg. We are going jellyfishing. We are going to abduct Kent Holland. We are going to probe him. We are the SpongeBob. All destruction to Holland.
It's a distance. That's all it is. It's not a
I lost my goddamn mind this stream.
time at all. So don't be confused by that. Okay? Let's see. What do we got here? What's the strongest archaeological evidence for a global flood? What do other cultures say?
Oh, he's gonna say Grand Canyon. Jean-Claude Grand Dam in The Flood. Coming soon to a theater near you. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday.
I cover this.
Sponsored by Pepto-Bismol. I don't know. He brought it up yesterday.
On video number 6 of my series. You can get the series $50 and then return it when you're done watching it and get your money back. Okay, we want to help. Put the question back up, brother. There's something else I wanted to say about that one. Okay, evidence for the flood. I think that it's just the very fact that we have layers at all. Now,
But Soot, it says he stretched out the heavens. I've got to work that in somewhere. He's got to do some stretching. And I've got to stretch to accommodate that stretching. Hovind.
people like Crybaby believe that the layers are different ages and took millions of years. I think all the layers formed in one big flood. And if there's any sorting to the fossils, it's because of other reasons than evolution. I think maybe clams are found at the bottom because they're already at the bottom when the flood starts. They'd be the first ones buried. That's where they live. I think maybe birds are found on top because not because they evolved last, but because birds are the last ones to drown in a flood. I think
last ones to drown in a flood doesn't accommodate all those weird avian creatures down here, and doesn't explain all the stupid ass clams that you can still find in layers like up here, because you don't find clams down at the bottom, you fucking idiot. You find them at the point in evolutionary strata where you'd expect them to. You dense, irritating moron.
If there's any sorting, and it's not real good sorting, okay? But if there's any sorting to the fossils, it's best explained by habitat or intelligence or mobility or body density. There's other
Except it's not.
factors besides evolution that would make a much better explanation. If you watch the video Experiments in Stratification, he shows clearly that 10 or 12 layers form downstream at the same time. So if the layers are all forming this way, not this way, you can have a fossil on top that's actually older than one at the bottom. This one got buried, and then this one got buried later, not earlier. So yeah, it's a great movie to explain the layers do not form this vertically; they form horizontally. The moon pulling the water up on the earth, the tide, would make tidal pumping during the flood. And if it was, they've done studies on this and say if the earth were not, didn't have any continents sticking up, if it was just covered with water, the tide wouldn't keep getting interrupted. Right now, as the world turns, the tide bangs
And if Hovind had anything of value to say, I wouldn't keep interrupting him.
into continents and gets interrupted.
Oh, interrupted, you say? Interrupted? Okay.
If it was uninterrupted, the
Oh, yeah, he's talking more about interruptions. Can't interrupt the Hovind.
tide would become harmonic and go up and down 200 feet. If the tide went up 200 feet, all that water has to be sucked in from all four sides, and it's the
Sucking in water from four sides, I'm Ken Hovind. I don't know.
rushing sideways water that makes all the layers to the earth, buries all the fossils, and they might be buried some based upon where the zones. Maybe all the giraffes get buried because giraffes hang out together. Most giraffes don't hang out with penguins, so they wouldn't be found with a penguin. Got nothing to do with evolution. It has to do with lots of other factors can answer that. Watch video 6 where I cover that in great detail. Okay? Let's see. Magngo. Dr. Hovind can only be in a video game if it's Hovind theory themed and he rides a dinosaur. Go for it. Make one. I'll be glad to ride it.
Oh, there we go. There we go. We got his permission. Let's make a Ken Hovind game where he rides a fucking dinosaur. Goes back in time and realizes he's full of shit. His Jesus never existed. Everything he believes is a lie. And at the end, it turns into Vinnie Vol's existential nightmare. If you don't know about Vinnie Vol's existential nightmare, you need to check that shit out. It's an old Ashens bit. That's how the game ends.
Any dinosaur you got. Mutations are good in the Marvel cinematic. Yeah, that's why it has to be imagination. That's what I've been saying all along. Thank you for what you do. I've learned so much. God bless you. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.
Tom Wilson, you ain't learned a goddamn thing, you fucking idiot. You are now stupider by acknowledging this man's existence.
Okay, spread it around. Any more there, brother?
Imagine it.
Put some random SpongeBob soundbite in there. Good God, is he and Joseph going to start memeing up all the time?
Well, we have one coming in another one from Mango Kiwi. He says, what are your thoughts on Enoch said that he saw stars being born in heaven and God knew them all by name?
For fuck's sake, could Joseph or somebody have a microphone so it isn't this weird crap every time? Such amateur fucking productions, Kent.
Enoch, what are my thoughts on Enoch? I think that's from the book of Enoch, not from the Bible.
Exactly.
Right. I'd be very cautious. There are 3 books of Enoch. I've got them all right here. It's ancient historical writing. It is not scripture. And people get all excited about when they read Enoch, like, oh, wow, some new revelation. What God wants us to have as far as his revelation is all in one book, the Bible. There are many ancient history books. Josephus, I've got it right here. The 3 books of Enoch, 1st and 2nd Maccabees. Excellent ancient historical records, but not inspired scripture. So don't trust them for that. Yes, sir.
Also, in the Hebrew scholarship, it's well known that Enoch's not even Hebrew. It's originally Greek and then it was translated into Hebrew.
So,
Oh God, I was able to hear enough of original Greek in that one. I'm so fucking sick of hearing original Greek, original Greek. Fuck the original Greek. I don't fucking care. Find the original fucking text or get the fuck out of here. You're still using copies of copies for your bullshit. Don't fucking care.
he's saying, this Hebrew scholars say the book of Enoch was not Hebrew. It's originally Greek, translated into Hebrew. So it's probably from the Alexandrian Greeks, the corrupt manuscript. What they did is they tried hard to make the Bible say what they want it to say.
Can we say projection?
So they write these, what's called a spurious book, and then they go bury it in a vase and leave a note, say, tell somebody 400 years from now to dig it up, you know. So it looks like it's an ancient manuscript, and it's just stupid. Do I? Okay. All right, is that it? Okay. You ever heard of meltology? The theory that some mountain structures are melted brick structures. I've never heard of that. My first
Oh man, that's some Mud Fossil University shit right there.
reaction would be to reject it. But I'm willing to be convinced. If you got some evidence for that, show me. I'm willing to look at any evidence. Don't volunteer. Where can I contact more information? Okay, drdino.com. Call 855-BIG-DINO, extension 5. Titus will answer. Oh, extension 6. Neil.
Hey, I'm not saying you should do this, but if you call 855-BIG-DINO and mash extension 0, you eventually get to a section that asks for a password. But, you know, it's a login sequence for, I guess, some purpose in their IVR system. I'm not saying you should mash that button and see, you know, what happens if you try random nodes, random numbers, random codes, random whatever. But if you manage to make something work, definitely let me know. I totally won't use that as a fun bit of freaking. And let's understand something. I say that partly in jest, partly in that I almost would like to accidentally discover the password because, like, ooh, cool, I'm in. But in all seriousness, you know, I'm not trying. I just noticed that because I was experimenting to see what kind of a system they had, if I could figure out any details on it, because I'm a phone freak. But I have friends who would literally spend all day calling it to figure it out if they were prompted to. They are that crazy. So I'm just saying, it's something out there. I'm bringing it up for no other reason than he just brought it up and I was just thinking about it because I was staring at one of my phones. So I've been working on my own private phone stuff recently. So, you know, the more you know.
Okay, call Neil. He will send you an application. We drug test people. If you take drugs, you can't come.
You need drugs to come. Oh, I apologize. Oh, I just had to say that.
And if you got to be clean for 30 days. So we don't take no alcohol, no drugs here. So we screen people that come in. Let's see, storming here in Northwest Arkansas. Always enjoy listening to you, brother. Northwest Arkansas. Tell Jim Bob Duggar I said hi. Tell him.
Oh, forgot about this. I caught this at the end when I was like, what happens at the very end? I heard him mention Jim Bob Duggar, and I was like, oh, God, that's the perfect way to end this crap.
To come to bring all 48 kids or whatever he's got by now down here to visit Dinosaur Adventureland. That guy's got to have 200 grandkids. Can you Google that? Google that. How many grandchildren does he have now? When I got out of prison 9 years.
I'm amazed Kent doesn't ask him to search things on Yahoo. But I guess Yahoo that never became a thing.
Years ago, he picked me up at the airport, at the prison, with my wife and son and a couple other people. Jim Bob Duggar. How many kids does Jim Bob Duggar have? I think he has 17 or 19 children, but then grandchildren. 19 children with his wife, Michelle. All their names start with J. Does it have how many grandkids? Instead of kids, change your search to grandkids. There you go. 36 grandchildren, 3 more on the way. Yeah. He's young. He's younger.
Wait, what was fucking perfect? I forgot what I did. Remind me. Is the stream so damn delayed? I don't even know anymore. I was calling into DAL to see if I could get the thing to pop up again.
Younger than me, I think. Praise God. That's the way it ought to be. Have a bunch. Okay. No, nothing tomorrow. Sunday, Psalm 93. It's only got 5 verses. I thought I'm going to cover 2 Psalms in one day. Brother, I'm not going to make it through these 5. I'm finding some stuff in there. It's like, oh, wow. Yes, what's another one? Oh, okay, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Where did the vast oil reserves deep underground come from? They came from the flood. Animals would be buried in the flood. When animals drowned, they would tend, especially if the water's swirling and moving, the tide's moving, they would tend to swirl in big circles. Out in the middle of the ocean right now, there are some huge plastic islands.
Oh, I get what you're referencing now. My little medicine joke earlier. No drugs at DL. PDF file. Welcome to DL.
Because the ocean is swirling because of the Coriolis effect. You can look that up, Coriolis. And it makes all this junk go together. Just Google plastic islands in the ocean. I mean, huge.
Believe it likes to be called the Pacific Garbage Gyre or something like that.
I think they're as big as Texas. Yeah. Well, that would happen during the flood with dead bodies of animals. They would just the swirling water would make them gather together in huge piles of dead animals. And when they get buried under enough sediment.
Man, and I mentioned this man's obsessed with death. Also, it's funny that we don't find giant fossilized piles of dead things.
The pressure will turn them to oil. There's a factory in Texas.
Oh, yes, because they're turned into oil. It's not possibly club mosses and the like from the Carboniferous period. No, it's the bodies of every other dead thing. Because you can turn a body into oil in 20 minutes. Just send me $9.95 and I'll send you a paper explaining how. Hold on.
Texas, I think it's Texas. They live right next to where they slaughter turkeys. I don't know, Butterball Turkey Factory or something. They take all the stuff they don't want, the feathers, the guts, and stuff from the turkeys, and they heat it and press it and turn it into oil in 20 minutes.
I don't think that's oil in the same way.
Produce oil from turkey guts. I cover all that on video.
Well, if we can take turkey guts and turn it into oil, then why are we fighting all these wars in the Middle East? Why are we friends with greedy-ass companies? Well, they are pretty much companies. With countries like UAE and Saudi Arabia that otherwise would be on our shit list, but they happen to sell us oil. Are you pro-Saudi, Kent? Just curious.
Number 1, the age of the earth. I talk about the oil pressure down in the ground indicates it has not been there for millions of years. We'll get our video series, $50. Okay, 12 days to come visit for our anniversary. Come, it's free. We're going to feed you and house you, and it's a blast here. I love giving tours of this place, brother. That family today I took on the tour, I won't tell you about, they voted to go. All of them. You just, never mind. You got to come see it. I don't want to.
I have a feeling some of those family members didn't make it back. Outside of body bags, anyway. Oh!
Spoil it. It's a lot of fun here. Okay, and Cloudy Bowels, get a job, okay? Get a job. Thank you. See you tomorrow, or Monday, Sunday. Bye.
I don't know, Kent. Why don't you? Oh, good. It's over. There's my mid-afternoon yawn. All right. So I'm not going to do anything special here. I'm just going to set the headset down, and we're just going to see about something. Just give me a second. All right, I'm just going to set this down. Think y'all can still, y'all can still hear me. Just going to set this right here, and I'm just going to tap history and. Oh, hang on. According to evolution, this phone gets better over time. Send. There we go. Just waiting. It's connecting.
Hello, and thank you for calling Creation Science Evangelism at Dinosaur Adventureland. We have 6 extensions that you can choose from. If you'd like to...
Invalid extension. Thank you for calling.
Ah.
Please leave a message and your call will be...
Okay, they might have changed something, or I may have to find a different one. Hang on, I'm going to try it again. Yeah, y'all got bonus behind the scenes shit right here. Me doing some grade A phone freaking. Or is it rejecting me? I think it might actually be rejecting me now. Oh well. Whatever, I tried. Anyway, all seriousness, if you do it a certain way, you can get it. Maybe it's because I mashed O way too many times in a moment. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Yeah. It's an IVR, so there's always going to be a way to access it. I'm not saying anyone should. I'm just saying it's there. You know, never leave a system available where people are going to try to mess around with and have fun. And yep, I called 855 Big Dildo. I mean, hell, honestly, if it weren't for the fact I just don't feel like talking to another human, I would actually be like, hey, Joseph, what's up? Just live, just for the hell of it. And Tennessee is a one-party state, so the fact that I know it's being recorded means everything is copacetic. This is also partly a test just to see if a microphone would actually pick this stuff up okay. And it does, so all right. So that answers that test. That being said, seriously, don't harass DAL. But, you know, I ain't your daddy. I can't control what you do or don't do. Thanks for stopping in. I'm going to go back to, well, I'm going to finish up my breakfast, lunch, my brunch. Let the stinking cat in again because she wants in the room again so she can chew on plastic again. I'm going to play some Guild Wars, try to get Skyscale. And then we'll see where the rest of the day takes us. If I do stream later tonight, it's going to be something different. It's going to be something fun. So stick around for that. Double check the channel when you got an opportunity. I'll try to schedule it reasonably ahead